360 degrees. High, 360 degrees. High, 360 degrees. High.
All right, Miyuyum Cho Onum and the Mokium to Full Circle, your cultural affairs radio magazine, produced by members and graduates of the First Voice Apprenticeship Program, broadcasting from right here at KPFA in Huichin, occupied Ohlone territory, also known to settlers as Berkeley, California. And this week on Full Circle, we're taking it to the streets. On tonight's show, we jump in on the non-cooperation with ICE rally held in Martinez just this Tuesday. That's tonight on Full Circle. I am your host tonight, Free Will and Franklin. I'm coming to you from downtown Antioch. This is occupied Bay Miwok territory. Keep it locked right here to KPFA. Aho, Miyuyum, Noshin Lovik, my heart is good. Thank you for joining us tonight on Full Circle. And hey, y'all, can you tell I'm on break this week? Hey, I know, right? But I was out on Tuesday at the Contra Costa County Supervisor's building, and the Contra Costa Immigrants' Rights Alliance was holding a non-cooperation ordinance rally and calling for a non-cooperation with ICE as it relates to county services and resources. And before I get into the list of speakers that we're about to hear, I just want to remind you all that this audio comes from a video that has been posted to the First Voice Media YouTube channel. And you can find that by going to First Voice Media Official on YouTube. And we will also post a link to the YouTube video on our Facebook page, and that's First Voice Media on Facebook. Be sure to like our Facebook and be sure to subscribe to First Voice Media on YouTube. All right, coming up, we're going to hear from the rally that was just held this past Tuesday out front of the Contra Costa County Supervisor's office. And again, this was a press event demanding the passage of a strong ICE non-cooperation ordinance in Contra Costa County. The first speakers we're going to hear from is Danny Espinoza. He's the MC. He's also Lift Up Contra Costa director. And then we'll hear from Cameron Sasai, and he's the mayor of the city of Pinole. Katie Rickles, chair of the Democratic Party of Contra Costa County. Reverend Deborah Lee, executive director of the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. And Miyosadi Tenakora, staff attorney at the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. And we'll end our first segment with Brandon Dawkins, the former VP of Organizing for SEIU 1021. So check out these sounds from the streets right here on Full Circle, First Voice Media, 94.1 FM, KPFA.
All right, folks. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Danny Espinoza, and I'm the director of Lift Up Contra Costa, and I'm here alongside the Contra Costa Immigrant Rights Alliance, our many community partners and residents and workers from across the county. We're here today because our immigrant brothers and sisters deserve real enforceable protections from ICE. This effort grew of last year's Truth Act Forum, where community members made it clear that Contra Costa needed stronger safeguards. For the past year, advocates, workers, legal experts, and impacted residents have worked to move our ordinance forward. Our communities have waited long enough. It's time to make this happen. More than 1,100 community members have signed on to our petition, calling on the Board of Supervisors to pass a strong ICE non-cooperation ordinance. Our message is clear. We want to protect our immigrant neighbors and brothers and sisters from our personal information and our county resources from being used to support ICE. That includes protecting our data. Private surveillance companies like Flock Safety collect license plate and location information They can reveal where people live, where they work, where they worship, or where they receive care. Investigations have shown how federal agencies can gain access to this kind of information, sometimes through local agencies or interconnected data systems. That's why protections must apply not only to county employees, but also to every company contracted to handle county services or data. Today, we're asking the board to make 3 critical changes to the current draft. First, revert the proposed policy back to an ordinance so these protections are enforceable as law. Second, close the contractor loophole by reinstating the contractor compliance section. And third, delete the conflict with other policies language and restore strong implementation requirements. We don't need symbolic promises right now. We need clear rules, accountability, and protections with teeth. This morning, you'll hear from leaders across the county, across the community about why these protections matter. Thank you all for being with us and standing with us. I'm going to now introduce our first speaker, Councilperson Cameron Sasai, and also the policy coordinator with the California Immigrant Policy Center. Thanks, Cameron.
All right, y'all, I know it's 9 o'clock in the morning, but we got to get our energy up. Is labor in the house? Yeah! Is labor in the house? Yeah! Is there people in the house? Yeah! All right, when I say who's got the power, you say we got the power. And what kind of power? People power, all right? Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. All right, y'all. Thank you, and good morning, everyone. My name is Cameron Sasai, and I'm a proud lifelong resident here in Contra Costa County and serve as a policy coordinator with the California Immigrant Policy Center. And today, CIPC stands with our local leaders in the county because we believe that our government has a responsibility to keep every resident safe. And right now, Contra Costa County is falling short of that responsibility. Now the community's ask has been clear. Protect county resources, protect county residents, and draw a clear line between local government and unlawful federal immigration enforcement. Now, for more than a year, community organizations, immigrant rights advocates, and county residents have been working to develop a non-cooperation ordinance for this county. An ordinance that keeps local resources focused on local priorities and gives county staff clear, lawful guidance on how to respond to federal immigration enforcement. And despite those efforts and the public witnessing continued patterns of aggressive, militarized, and unlawful federal immigration enforcement activity, families that are being destabilized, our communities being destabilized, and actions that threaten the health and safety of all of our residents. The Board of Supervisors has continued to weaken and stall this ordinance. And this item should have been agendized for a vote at this month's meeting, but instead, what do we see? We see them stalling at the expense of the safety of all of us, and that is not okay. Now, Contra Costa County is one of the most progressive counties in California and has some of the largest and most diverse immigrant communities in the Bay. This county has immigrant families who have spent generations building their lives here, working people and small business owners who power our local economy, students from immigrant and mixed status backgrounds living in our county, families in our schools, and residents who rely on accessing critical services from county government every single day. And our immigrant families and communities are watching how their local leaders, at this moment, respond to ICE's escalating and terrorizing tactics. And when trust in local government erodes and institutions erodes, it doesn't just affect immigrant communities, it affects whether anyone feels safe going to a county clinic to access health care, sending their kids to school, or showing up in court. And residents are paying attention to whether their leaders that they elected will stand up for us in this moment. Contra Costa County needs to meet the moment with strong leadership. we have an opportunity to ensure that all families and residents, regardless of immigration status, can access vital public services they need without fear of racial profiling or arrest by federal immigration agents. Now, this non-cooperation ordinance is a necessary step towards that goal. It sets clear boundaries, so county resources aren't used for activity that runs counter to our values as Contra Costa County residents. And it ensures that county staff feel safe and prepared to respond lawfully and appropriately when federal agents overreach. We know many supervisors have voiced support for these protections, but right now is a time to act on that support. The California Immigrant Policy Center joins local community organizations in respectfully urging the entire Board of Supervisors to expedite this ordinance. Contra Costa County should not be one of the last counties in the Bay Area to establish these protections. That's right. We call on county leaders to take this opportunity to demonstrate strong leadership for immigrant families and bring this ordinance back to the board now. That's right. ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Thank you all. Thank you. And now I have the amazing honor of introducing a good friend, a powerhouse, a fighter for the people, chair of the Democratic Party of Contra Costa County, Katie Rickliffs. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be here. And power to the people, power to all of us in Contra Costa County. This is a great county, and our leaders need to stand up for us right now. So, I am chair of the Democratic Party of Contra Costa County. I'm Katie Rickliffs, and very, very proud to be here with all of you this morning. Our county party was approached by community groups a few months ago to help gain support for this important ordinance. And it's important that it not be just a policy, that it be a strong, enforceable ordinance that also covers contractors. You know, that's a really important element in this. Our county services and our county employees are fabulous, and our immigrant community interacts with them all the time, and they interact with contractors. So this ordinance has to cover contractors as well. Our resolution that has been presented to the County Board of Supervisors includes signatures from over 45 elected officials, community organizations, and six of our Democratic clubs in Contra Costa County. And these clubs cross east, west, central, and they include the biggest Democratic club in the country, probably, the Democrats of Rossmore. So this is a lot of people behind this effort. And other counties have already signed ordinances. Alameda, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Sonoma. There is no reason that Contra Costa can't jump in to the center and lead this. This is our time to do this.
Yes.
And this ordinance, I think it's important to understand. We all understand this does not guarantee protection in every piece, every aspect of life in Contra Costa County. That is a dream, that is a promise that no one can make. However, it does cover all of the county facilities, all of the county employees and staff, all of the county properties, and all of the contractors who work with the county to provide services. That's a lot. So that's what is committed here. It is not pie in the sky. It is not a dream that we can't meet. So we will continue as a Democratic Party to gain supporters. We want more and more people to sign our resolution. We also will continue to work with our Board of Supervisors and encourage them, get them over the line to sign this ordinance into effect and have it implemented immediately. Yes. All right? So I join with all of you. I think we're on the brink. We can bring this together and accomplish something really important for our community. So let's stick together. Let's keep the support growing, keep the momentum going, and we'll do this together. Now it's my my honor to introduce Reverend Deb Lee, the Executive Director of the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here with so many organizations from here in Contra Costa County, and I'm here today to represent the many faith communities here in Contra Costa County who are deeply concerned about this issue, who are busy every day and on the ground seeking to protect all residents here in Contra Costa County, including their immigrant neighbors. We stand for dignity. We believe in dignity of every person. We believe in the equality of every person. And we believe that every person in Contra Costa County should feel safe and should feel that they belong. And it is the role of our government to ensure that people feel safe and know that they belong. Let us be clear that we are at a time in history where ICE is one of the greatest threats to human rights, to a free society, to life itself. Not just for immigrants or people of different status, but for all of us who live here. They are the most well-funded, brutal, cruel force that is actually tearing apart the very fabric of our society. And it is the role of the Board of Supervisors, our local government, to do everything they can to ensure safety and belonging for everyone here in this county. They have the opportunity right now to work with us to create a protective non-cooperation ordinance. We have the right, they have the opportunity, and we have the right as a local community to decide how we want to govern ourselves, how we want to live, how we want to protect our data, how we want to protect our neighbors, how we want to protect one another. And we are imploring them to step up to the plate and do their piece of this work.
That's right.
Many of you here are already doing the work in many ways. We are doing the work of extending love to your neighbor. What we need is the Board of Supervisors to extend love to all of our neighbors by passing a non-cooperation ordinance to ensure that everyone can live as a neighbor in this county. One of the important tenets of our faith traditions is that we are called to prevent harm. We know harm is coming. Harm is already here. We are called to prevent harm and to prevent needless suffering. And so we're asking them to stand with us, for the local government to stand with us and do everything they can do to step up with responsibility and with a duty of care. So let's not let Contra Costa County be the weak link here in Northern California. That is unacceptable. Many of our faith institutions, including our organization, the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity, which has folks outside the Concord Court Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. There's Faith in Action, there's the Concord Protective Network, there's the other multi-faith alliances. We are showing up and we're asking our county to meet us halfway, meet us fully at the plate, step up so we can count on you to prevent all the departments and all your staff from doing any kind of damaging collaboration with ICE, including our contractors. So thank you, and thank you for keeping up the work, and let's keep pushing our foot on the gas to make sure that this policy gets passed. And I want to invite up to speak now the wonderful Mio Tanacora, the staff attorney of the Immigrant Legal Resource Center.
Good morning, everyone. I am so proud to be with you all today. Buenos días. Estoy muy orgullosa de estar aquí con ustedes. My name is Mia Sodi Tanacora, and I'm a senior staff attorney with the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. Today, we are witnessing a low point in humanity. Our federal government, through the weaponization of our country's budgetary process, has given the Department of Homeland Security over $200 billion for immigration enforcement. Additionally, the Department of Homeland Security has delegated their immigration enforcement powers to several federal agencies. We're talking about an agency that's fully funded and fully staffed. Every day we see the human cost of the federal government's aggressive immigration enforcement policies. Contra Costa needs to stand on the right side of history and refuse to assist an inhumane immigration enforcement machine. The Board of Supervisors must pass an order that makes it clear that Contra Costa will not put their resources and money to hurting their own community. We've proposed a strong ordinance that would just do that. And for over a year, we've been patiently waiting for the Board of Supervisors to pass this ordinance. In the last meeting, the board wanted to make sure that the ordinance complies with the Attorney General's guidance on SB 580 that requires state and local agencies by January 1st, 2027 to adopt model policies on how state and locality can interact with immigration enforcement. Beyond nothing, and I've read the guidance, nothing in our proposal conflicts with that. In fact, our ordinance goes above and beyond to protect our community. The Attorney General urges in his guidance, actually, for state and local agencies to get community input and work together to problem solve. This is what we're doing here today, trying to work together. In order to do that, we have to close loopholes, and a loophole we're trying to close is ensuring contractors do not share information with the Department of Homeland Security. What we're asking is very simple, a check box that contractors affirm that they will abide by the values of Contra Costa. I also understand the board is concerned about losing federal funding, but we will not allow the threat of financial retaliation to dictate what we believe is morally right and legally right. The federal government cannot simply attach whatever conditions it wants to federal grants, and courts have repeatedly pushed back when immigration enforcement conditions exceed that authority. A threat to withhold funding is not the same thing as a lawful ability to do so. If we believe limiting local involvement in federal immigration enforcement is the right policy for Contra Costa community, we should not abandon it merely out of fear. We need to stand together. Fear is most effective when each community believes it is standing alone. If we stand together and act with courage, we can defend both our communities and the principles we believe in. Passing this ordinance is how we defend ourselves. It is as simple as that. Thank you so much. And now I have the pleasure of bringing in, give me a second, Brandon Dawkins, former VP of Organizing SIU 1021.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. When immigrant communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Good morning, family. Good morning. I'm Brandon Dawkins. I am the former Vice President of Organizing for SEIU Local 1021. We are here amongst family this morning. We understand what this current administration has been doing as an attack on immigrant communities. Right here in Contra Costa County, our immigrant communities are our brothers and sisters in labor. They are your bus drivers. They are your clinic workers. They are your fast food workers. They are your teachers. They are your neighbors.
Your farm workers.
Thank you. And I would have listed it off if I had a little bit more time. However, right here in Contra Costa County, where we have immigrant workers are working to continue to build this county on their backs, serving this county on their backs. Contra Costa, we're not asking, we're demanding that you do the right thing. We're demanding that you do the right thing by adopting an ordinance that has some teeth. Contra Costa County Supervisors, we are demanding that you adopt an ordinance that has some teeth so that we can protect our immigrant workers, so we can protect our immigrant communities, so we can protect those who serve this county with dignity. It shouldn't have taken this long. When other counties are miles ahead of us, Alameda's miles ahead of us, all the other counties are miles ahead of us. Contra Costa County, we are demanding that you do the right thing by adopting this ordinance. Adopting this ordinance today, it shouldn't have been delayed for this long because we have to protect our communities. We have to protect our families. We will not allow for the current administration and the federal government to dictate what we do here in Contra Costa County. Now, I think I said enough. Betty from eBase, where you at? Come on up, sister.
Get them kids about the cages. 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 There's kids in the cages. I'm feeling frustrated. People been looking and laughing and pointing, this ain't entertainment. There's kids in the cages. I'm feeling frustrated. People been looking and laughing and pointing, this ain't entertainment. They treat us like animals. This ain't a circus. This isn't laughable. We don't deserve this. This ain't on the media. This ain't on the news. No one believing us. But this is the truth. This is the truth. And then this is reality. This is the truth. And then this is a tragedy. Taking the children away from the family. Why is this happening? It's a catastrophe. Stop with the vanity. Where is humanity? We are the refugees. We are in agony. We've been the ones that been taking your salary. We are the hard workers. We are the farm workers. We are the dishwashers. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the hard workers. We are the lawnmowers. We are the leaf blowers. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones that are working construction. And we are the ones that will fix your destruction. And we are the ones that bring food on your table. And we are the ones that been given a label. And we are the ones that you blaming for taking your just what you pay me. We are the ones working minimum wages. And we are the ones with our kids in the cages. Get them kids about 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 the cages. There's kids in the cages. I'm feeling frustrated. People been looking and laughing and pointing, this ain't entertainment. There's kids in the cages. I'm feeling frustrated. People been looking and laughing and pointing, this ain't entertainment. Worse than a prison. Been overcrowded. Dirty conditions. It's up in the thousands. Stuck in the camps. Your sons and your daughters. Stuck in the camps. No food or no water. This is the time that we burning the border down, saving the kids and declaring it's over. Now camps that they live in, it looking so dangerous. Taking the locks out the cages, I'm breaking it. This is so sick in it. I am so sick of this. Stop all the wickedness, saving the innocents. Don't follow ignorance, get off the internet. I don't want any more victims. Get your hands up for the children. This is a warning before we start forming allegiance. War in the system. This time the people have risen. This time we're making a difference. My ancestors told me that we be the ones that don't make it up out of these prisons. These of the chains that we breaking. And in this mental enslavement, mess with our people, you're surely mistaken. We saving the next generation, breaking you out of the matrix. This time the people awaken. Kids are no longer forsaken. We finally getting them out of these cages. Get them kids about the cages. Get them kids about the cages. Get them kids about the cages.
All right, welcome back to Full Circle right here on 94.1 FM KPFA and kpfa.org. We are part of the Pacifica Radio Network. You can also find us on First Voice Media Official on YouTube and First Voice Media on Facebook. That is where we post the videos to the audio that you're hearing tonight. So be sure to head over to First Voice Media Official on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to follow us at First Voice Media on Facebook. So you just heard Kids in Cages by the Neighborhood Kids, and before that, you heard the first part of the non-cooperation with ICE rally outside the Contra Costa County Supervisor's office. The rally was held this past Tuesday and was put on by the Contra Costa Immigrant Rights Alliance. Coming up next, we're going to hear the second half of the rally. We'll hear Betty Gabaldon, Concord organizer and manager of East Bay Alliance for Sustainable Economy. Then we'll hear from Devin Williams. He's the third vice president for East Contra Costa County NAACP. He's also the vice chair of the Antioch Police Oversight Commission. Then we'll hear from Marifer Marina, organizer with Monument Impact, Shannon Turner of the California Nurses Association, and we'll close out the Sounds from the Streets with a short interview with Danny Espinoza, who was the MC of the rally and is also the director of Lift Up Contra Costa.
ICE is in our backyard. With the immigration court in San Francisco closing and all the cases coming to Concord, ICE activity would likely increase. My name is Betty Gabaldon, and I'm a Concord resident, manager organizer with eBase, and member of Concord Immigrant Protection Network. The impact of this administration's attack on immigrant communities has had a chilling effect on many workers and renters in Concord and all over Contra Costa County. Over the past few months, I've been doing business outreach in Concord to share Know Your Rights information with employers and employees to ensure business have a safe place for their workers. But I also heard nearly from every business owner on the Monument Corridor, which is mainly immigrant-serving businesses, that they are struggling to stay open. And then this is because people are not coming the way they used to, especially after they hear their neighbors have been taken by ICE on their way to work while grabbing something to eat at Taco Bell on Monument Boulevard, or while doing the laundry at the laundromat just a block away. This is the reality that many neighbors are living through right now. People are afraid to leave their houses unless it's absolutely necessary. They don't walk to the grocery store anymore. They wait until a family member drives them to get groceries. Renters are feeling scared to report unsafe and unhealthy living conditions because their landlords threaten to call ICE on them. The impact are becoming increasingly evident. Fewer customers are coming, workers are getting fewer hours and less pay. And families are having to cut down on food, medicine, and basic necessities to avoid falling behind on their rent. All of this is creating a deeper crisis in the community. We have been waiting a year for the Contra Costa elected officials to act. This is unacceptable.
Too long. Too long.
We need the Board of Supervisors to work with the community to create a strong legislative solution. No county dollars or data should be used to aid ICE violent on an awful agenda. The community wants a strong and enforceable ordinance now. We are calling on the Board of Supervisors to do their duty today and to stop delaying action on this ordinance. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
the privilege of introducing our next speaker, Devin Williams with the NAACP of East Contra Costa.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here with you all in community. This morning, I stand before you not just as the third vice president of the East County NAACP, but as someone who believes that every person deserves to live with dignity, safety, and the basic freedom to go to work, to take their children to school, and to seek medical care without living in fear. What we are witnessing across this country and this county is not just an immigration issue. It is a civil rights issue. It's a racial justice issue. And history has taught us that when government uses fear, intimidation, and selective enforcement against communities of color, silence is never an acceptable response. Contra Costa County has always claimed to be a place that values equity, inclusion. Now, it's time for them to prove it. Families throughout our county are afraid. Parents are making impossible decisions. Children are wondering whether the people who tuck them in that bed at night will be there in the morning. Community members are avoiding schools, hospitals, and even reporting crimes because they fear that the interaction with the government could tear their families apart. Shame! Shame! And that fear weakens every one of us. Yes. When people cannot trust public institutions, public safety suffers, public health suffers, entire communities become isolated. That is not the kind of county we should be in and accept. The Board of Supervisors has an opportunity and a responsibility to act. We cannot continue delaying a strong ICE non-cooperation ordinance while families wait for protection. Every delay sends the wrong message, every delay leaves our neighbors more vulnerable, and every day we have real human consequences. This ordinance must have meaningful protection. It cannot simply be symbolic. It must clearly limit local cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, where the law allows, protect sensitive information, strengthen community trust, and make it clear that the county resources exist to serve our residents and not separate families.
Thank you.
I'll close by saying the NAACP has always stood against systems that disproportionately harm black communities, but our fight has never been limited to one community. Our struggle has always been rooted in the belief that injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. Today, we stand in solidarity with our immigrant neighbors because civil rights are human rights. Dr. Martin Luther King reminded us that the time is always right to do what is right, and that time is now. Our immigrant families should not have to wonder whether their county government will stand beside them. They deserve certainty. They deserve protection. And they deserve leaders. They deserve leaders with courage. To the board members, we ask you to match your words with action, pass a strong, enforceable non-cooperation ordinance, protect our families, protect our community, show Contra Costa what real leadership looks like. Thank you. And I will now introduce my colleague, Marifer, from the organizer with Monument Impact. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. A little more energy. When immigrant communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
All right, good morning. My name is Marifer Miranda, and I'm here representing Monument Impact. I'm also here as a resident of Pittsburgh. I've lived in Concord, Martinez. I've lived all around here, so give it up for all those tenants that are living around. All right, I'm here today because immigrant communities in Contra Costa deserve more than statements of support or pouring money into resource centers. We deserve laws that actually protect us. Our coalition is here because the safety and the trust of immigrant communities has been treated as an afterthought, when it should have been a proactive measure from the very beginning. This issue is very deeply personal for me. I arrived in this country at 3 years old. I grew up in Concord, went to DVC while living in Bay Point, and had my first experience as a tenant here in Martinez. The first apartment my husband and I rented was on Detroit Avenue in Concord. For those of you who know, it's just down the street from the Concord Immigration Court. Every week, I would see families walking into that building together. Some of them were living in my own neighborhood. As an immigrant, I grieved for every family impacted by our immigration system, but I was also fearful about passing that building every day just to get to work. That daily experience repeatedly triggered my PTSD and most likely my neighbor's PTSD. And that experience has stayed with me because growing up in Concord during the Bush era was not that different. I see myself in every child that is forced to interpret court documents for their families. I see my mother in every grieving parent of a disappeared neighbor. I see my grandfather and the sacrifices he made to travel from the country, from Peru. These are not abstract issues. These are our families, these are our people, these are your constituents. Your constituents! I don't want more youth to grow up the same way I did, with daily crippling fear of whether your county will protect you or not. For over 25 years, Monument Impact has served Contra Costa residents. I actually found my way to them because I needed their services. Yeah, give it up for Monument Impact. In those 2.5 decades, we have learned 3 things are essential to building strong communities: partnership, equity, and community trust. You cannot truly serve the people without valuing all of these. This is why we are here today. We are asking our county leaders to listen and truly collaborate with the residents and organizations that are directly serving communities most impacted by the federal government's unjust use of power against specifically working class families, often under the guise of criminality.
Listen.
Seeing as though crime could mean making mean or rude comments about Charlie Kirk, minor traffic violations, or even the 16,523 people with 0 record of crimes being committed.
Thank you.
And right now, the current draft of the county's non-cooperation ordinance has removed 3 critical pieces of language from the original proposal and has delayed it again as an item on the agenda. Can we get a boo? This is especially concerning because we have been witnessing what this escalation has looked like throughout California. California's own Department of Justice has reported that conditions in ICE detention facilities have worsened as detention populations have grown. Overcrowding and strained access to medical care. 6 people died in California ICE detention facilities within the last year. How much?
60 in the country.
60 across the country. Thank you. This is what we mean when we say there is no more time to wait. The federal government is openly celebrating the revocation of nearly 200,000 visas since taking office. Thousands of DACA recipients have faced delays with their work permits while people continue to be detained and deported. While the Concord Immigration Court manages the enormous backlog of cases coming from the city of San Francisco, ICE presence in our local businesses and parking lots are increasingly more visible. Meanwhile, community organizations like Monument Impact are being asked to respond to the fear and harm that follows. All this on the heels of local leadership, and even in Pittsburgh, approving the construction of a data center near schools, despite resident pushback, one of them being hyper-surveillance of our undocumented and mixed status families. We cannot wait for someone to lose their life before we decide to act. So today we're asking Contra Costa County leaders to truly stand with immigrant communities. Put this ordinance on the next Board of Supervisors agenda, close the loopholes, restore protections that were originally included in the ordinance, and ensure that this returns as a legally binding ordinance. Listen to the people who are directly impacted. Our families deserve better. Our communities deserve better. And Contra Costa needs to do better.
All right, please help me in welcoming our next speaker, Shannon Turner, who is with the California Nurses Association and a nurse practitioner right here in Pittsburgh.
Right. Hi, my name is Shannon Turner, and as Danny mentioned, I'm a nurse practitioner at Pittsburgh Health Center. I'm a proud member of this community, and I've committed my life to any of you and take care of you like I would my own family. However, this federal administration is stripping Medi-Cal coverage from our country's most vulnerable, my patients, all of our neighbors, and is using money to fund a paramilitary operation whose intent is to terrorize our communities. Less than 2 weeks ago, ICE took into custody one of our own, despite the fact that she is legally authorized to live and work in the country while she waits for her asylum case from Zambia to be processed. Her name is Deborah Kapisha, a medical surgical registered nurse at Maine Medical Center while she was traveling through Logan Airport in Boston, Massachusetts. ICE planned to transfer her from Massachusetts to Louisiana, where she would have been far from her family, legal counsel, and support systems. Not many who are kidnapped by the ICE terrorists get a second chance. Deborah did because of the power of collective action. In less than 18 hours, over 200 registered nurses and community members held emergency actions, stopping the transfer and eventually securing her release. Since ICE began kidnapping brown and black people and terrorizing our communities, my union, National Nurses United, has called it out as an illegitimate, violent paramilitary organization that must be abolished. On top of that, immigrant enforcement officers have shot and killed in the streets, such as Johann Sebastian Guerrero, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, VA registered nurse Alex Preddy, and Renee Good. At least 60 people that we just talked about have died within the immigration detention system in the United States during Trump's second term, mainly due to withholding of adequate medical care. No human should be denied access to proper medical care. And as a result of this terrorism, people of all legal statuses already are second-guessing obtaining life-saving care. Obtaining medical care should be safe no matter what your immigration status. Spreading terror by targeting innocent people of color through Kavanaugh stops that empower agents to target victims based on racial profiling showcases how ICE's so-called enforcement activity is basically overt racism. Nurses are committed to building the solidarity needed to protect our patients and communities from these escalating attacks by officials under the Trump administration. We urge you, the board, to join us in support of ratifying this agreement.
All right, folks. Well, thank you again for all coming out this morning and all the speakers for sharing your voices, your experiences. To the members of the media for being here, and to everyone who joined us, again, thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate it. So I want to reiterate our message to the board and make it clear. Act with urgency and place this ordinance on the next agenda for a final vote. The final ordinance must close the contractor loophole by reinstating the contractor compliance section and delete the conflict with other policies language. We invite everyone here now to join us inside the board meeting and make a public comment, and at the next board meeting to flood the room. Let's make the supervisors hear directly from our community that we need meaningful protections, and we need them now. Thank you.
What's the date of the next board meeting?
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 El pueblo unido jamás
All right, Free Will and Franklin, we're still here just wrapping up the action out here to protect our neighbors with Contra Costa Immigrant Rights Alliance. And I got one of the young men here that was organizer and speaker. Let me just have you introduce yourself, who you are, and what you're part of out here real quick.
Yeah, my name's Danny Espinoza, and I'm actually the director for an organization in Contra Costa called Lift Up Contra Costa. And we're here basically to tell the Board of Supervisors that it's been long enough. We need to pass a strong ordinance, and we need to pass it now. And that really we need to pass an ordinance that closes the contractor loophole, that supersedes any other policy, and that has teeth to it.
Let me ask you, for those that don't know, talk about the contractor loophole. I heard you talking about more than just people, but also data and stuff. So tell us about what's the contractor loophole when it comes to immigration's rights out here in Contra Costa?
Yeah, so, the county contracts with tons of different private and local businesses. And currently, as it stands, it would only apply to county staff. And so what we're asking is that anybody that's a contractor, for example, companies like Flock that have the automatic license plate reader systems, that they are held to the same standards that county workers are held to, and that data is not shared, and that it stays private, because we have that right as citizens here in Contra Costa.
And also, talk about what is a non-cooperation ordinance. I don't know if a lot of people understand that. Does that just mean that the sheriff and ICE communicate before a raid? Tell us a little bit more broadly, what is non-cooperation and what is a non-cooperation ordinance?
For sure. So the biggest thing I'd say is that right now what's being proposed is a policy, which is a procedure, right? And so what we're asking for is an ordinance which is legally binding. So there's legal teeth to that. And when we talk about non-cooperation, essentially what we're saying is that no county resources, no public spaces that belong to our county should be used to help aid ICE or any federal agency for that matter. And that we have to make a commitment that we won't cooperate directly with those agencies, whether that's Border Patrol, whether that's ICE agents themselves, but that we don't cooperate with them.
Well, let me be the devil's advocate here and say why. This is crazy. The county should cooperate with ICE. It saves lives. It helps people. Why is this not the time to cooperate with what's happening in our country?
Well, first I'd say that ICE is terrorizing our communities, first and foremost. The other thing to make clear is that we're not asking federal agencies to not do what it is that they are saying that they're going to do, but what we're telling them is that they're not able to use our resources. They can't have our data, they can't have our public spaces, and then they should be fearful to come here because they're not welcome.
And another thing I wanted to ask you, talk a little bit more about the money and resources, because one of the things that you're demanding is that funds won't be used, county funds. How would county funds possibly be used to support ICE and the work that they're doing?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that right now we're seeing deficits across the nation, right? Especially here in Contra Costa, our county is facing deficits, our local cities are facing deficits, and so the biggest message here is that with already shrinking budgets, there's no room to support any of these efforts, and that really we need to be thinking about our neighbors, our brothers and sisters that are already struggling with resources, and if anything, that our funding should go to support those efforts, not to aid federal agencies.
And then real quick on the closure of the San Francisco Immigration Court and the big burden that's coming to Concord and Contra Costa County. How are you all looking at that? What are you all doing to prepare? What should people do in case they have an appointment at Concord?
So, first off, we're feeling the impacts already. It's already happening. It's been happening for the last few months, and since the closure in May, we've seen a huge influx in cases being held here in Concord, but also a huge rise in ICE actually being in places like Concord and Brentwood and Antioch. And so the impacts are being felt. What we could say to folks that do have their court hearings is to make sure that they're complying with what's recommended by their legal experts, but that to not be fearful of the process. That's exactly what they want, and that the community is going to be there to support them.
Is there some sort of contact or some place they could reach out if they feel like they'd like an escort or someone to be with them when they go into Concord Court, or anyone that might be able to offer some sort of legal advice?
Yeah, so there's the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. You can follow the Contra Costa Immigrant Rights Alliance, and then the Safe Center has a company program, and then you can find all those resources at liftupcontracosta.com.
All right, and I guess I would just ask you any last words about the Attorney General, what he's asking of our communities, and how you see Contra Costa fitting into that and doing their part to protect our friends, families, our loved ones, as people mentioned today, the people that serve our community, the workers, healthcare workers. You know, how do you see what the Attorney General is asking, doing your part here in Contra Costa?
I think that what I'm seeing is that the Attorney General, the state, right, is siding with us and believes that there needs to be these sort of protections. SB 580 was passed because the state recognized that we needed these sort of protections across the state. And so it's not up to the counties at this point to decide if it's something that they need, but it's required by the beginning of next year. And so we already feel like we're behind, and now the clock is really ticking for Contra Costa. It's time for us to really get our act together.
All right, remind folks who you are one time and how they can follow your organization.
Absolutely, yeah. My name is Danny Espinoza. I'm with Lift Up Contra Costa, and you can follow us at Lift Up Contra Costa or at www.liftupcontracosta.com.
All right, well, thank you very much, Danny. That brings us to the end of tonight's show. Be sure to follow us on First Voice Media on Facebook, and be sure to head over to First Voice Media Official on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Shout out to the First Voice crew. That's Miss M, our executive director. Joy Moore is our production consultant. And me, Freewell and Franklin, I have been your host and producer. I'm also the technical director of this show, Full Circle. Thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, while you're out there, to please protect your health and also your humanity. And stay tuned to KPFA. Up next is La Onda Bajita. Pulov Tupa Cho'onam. Good night, everyone.
Get them kids about the cages. 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 Get them kids about the cages.
You are with me in all I see.
I was listening to the voices of life.
My very breath.
Roots Communications on the Great Turtle Island. Friday late nights, 2 a.m. Pacific Time on KPFA.
Life was so simple, life was so sweet.
With selectors Lapu Lapu, Spliff Skankin, Urban Native Sun, Balcon, Elia Malaya, Connects, P-Dog Ray, J Smokin'. Roots Communications, Friday late nights, 2 a.m. Pacific Time on KPFA.
KPFA is a media sponsor of Berkeley Pride. From Joy to Justice. Celebration of the power of the LGBTQIA+ BIMPOP community. This event is wheelchair accessible on Sunday, August 30th from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at MLK Jr. Civic Center Park in downtown Berkeley. Proceeds benefit the Pacific Center for Human Growth, a 501c3 organization. More information is at pacificcenter.org, Berkeley Pride.
KPFA paid staff is associated with the Communications Workers of America, CWA Local 9415.
This is 94.1 KPFA and 89.3 KPFB in Berkeley, 88.1 KFCF in Fresno, and online everywhere at kpfa.org.
KPFA.